We're now over 2 months into the Damian Lillard saga with no real resolution that seems to be coming in the near future. The longer this whole ordeal plays out, the more likely many NBA insiders believe it is that other NBA teams will start to throw themselves into the mix trying to acquire him. Throughout the entire process, Damian Lillard and his camp have been adamant that the Miami Heat are his only preference, but the Heat aren't the only team with interest in him. ESPN just published an article where they gathered some of their top NBA experts to propose realistic trade ideas involving 3 other potential Lillard landing spots. And as I do with a lot of the Bleacher Report articles of this nature, I'm here to go through each proposal, analyzing whether or not the deal actually makes sense, who benefits the most from it, and why or why not each team involved would want to do it. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I'd also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first trade from the article is a 3-team deal between the 76ers, Trailblazers, and Clippers, where the 76ers receive Damian Lillard, Terrence Mann, Norman Powell, and Robert Covington, the Clippers receive James Harden and Tobias Harris, and the Trailblazers receive Tyrese Maxey, Furkan Korkmaz, Jaden Springer, Nicholas Batum, Amir Coffey, Marcus Morris, and 2 first-round picks. So obviously they start things off with a doozy of an offer with a lot going on, but with James Harden undergoing his very own saga similar to Lillard, they clearly felt like there was a possibility of combining them into one big deal. In this deal, Harden gets his wish of going to the Clippers, and in order to make the money work, Tobias Harris is going with him, which becomes a lot more doable because this is the last year of Harris's infamous contract that may go down as one of the worst in recent history, so the fact that it is expiring next summer helps out a ton. The Sixers obviously also come away satisfied from this trade because not only do they get a superstar point guard like Lillard to pair with the MVP Joel Embiid, but they also get all of the role players that they wanted from the Clippers in the original James Harden discussions. Terrence Mann's willingness to compete on both ends and buy into whatever role his team asks of him makes him very valuable on the wing. Norman Powell would be the best 6th man that the Sixers have had in years, and Robert Covington may not be the same player he was during his first stint with the 76ers, but he can still defend well and space the floor with his shooting. Even for the Trailblazers, they'd certainly have their heads turned at this offer because every report I've seen about the situation is that they would need Tyrese Maxey included in the trade offer to even start the discussion, and there he is. The Sixers have yet to show any willingness to trade Maxey though, so this deal won't happen unless that changes, and the last thing that gives me hesitancy is only 2 first-round picks are going Portland's way. The Sixers can't offer any of their picks until 2029, which makes it a tough pill to swallow, but they would almost certainly need to give that to Portland as well to get this deal over the line. Outside of that, the Clippers get what they want from one last all-in season going for a title, the Sixers round out their roster with Lillard and wing depth, and the Blazers get a young rising star, Flyers on a few other young players, and the draft capital to undergo their rebuild. So all in all, this isn't a bad proposal at all, it just needs a tiny bit more. The next proposal from the article is between the Trailblazers and the New Orleans Pelicans, and in it the Pelicans receive Damian Lillard and Yusuf Nurkic in exchange for Zion Williamson, Dyson Daniels, Kira Lewis, Larry Nance, and Najee Marshall. Every move the Pelicans have made over the last few seasons indicates that they're trying to put together a winner. Brandon Ingram has come into his own as a star in the league, CJ McCollum is a good secondary shot creator and scoring threat, Herb Jones has blossomed into one of the best defensive talents in the league, Trey Murphy is looking like one of the better 3-and-D players now. They just need Zion Williamson to stay healthy to really do some damage. The problem with that, obviously, is that Zion has not shown that he can stay healthy. There seems to be an unspoken bit of tension between Zion Williamson and the organization that has been there since he got drafted too, so that certainly doesn't help. And while I don't think the Pelicans should be abandoning their faith in Zion just yet, I also don't think it's crazy to shop him if Damian Lillard comes to town. The Pelicans also happen to need an actual starting point guard, because Jose Alvarado is the only real one they have on their roster right now, with CJ McCollum being more of a natural 2-guard, but he handles the point guard duties in the meantime. It would also be kind of funny to see Lillard and McCollum team up again. Zion Williamson is also just 23 years old, so the Blazers rebuilding with an already established core of young talented players, he would enter an environment with less pressure to restart his career and help the Blazers to potentially great things in the future. With all of that being said though, there are a few major reasons why this deal would be a hard no. First of all, there are 0 draft picks included, and that's ridiculously unrealistic when trading for superstar talent. Zion Williamson obviously has unreal upside, but his health risks are too great to overcome in these trade discussions. Additionally, one of the biggest things that held back the Lillard and McCollum backcourt when they were playing together in Portland was the fact that combined, their perimeter defense was pretty bad, so New Orleans would basically be inheriting those same problems. All in all, the idea of Lillard in New Orleans is intriguing, but this one is a lot less realistic than the last proposal. And finally, the third proposal from the article was between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Toronto Raptors, and in it the Raptors received Damian Lillard in exchange for OG Anunoby, Chris Boucher, Thad Young, Grady Dick, and 2 first-round picks. The Raptors seem like an obvious candidate to be the next team to blow things up and rebuild, but the Raptors themselves don't seem to agree with that notion. There's been rumblings about Pascal Siakam signing a contract extension with the team next summer. The signings the team made this offseason indicate that they're still trying to remain competitive, and the fact that they have continuously held on to their players through the end of their contracts, even if it meant watching them leave in free agency, tells me that they may be too stubborn to ever actually do it. They've also shown in the past that they're willing to trade for disgruntled stars for the chance to go all in on a title, as they did with Kawhi Leonard in 2019, and it worked, so the logic behind them getting involved in the Lillard situation does add up. OG Anunoby is a very solid 2-way wing player coming off of a season where he was named to the all-defense team, and he also happens to want either a bigger role or a trade. Grady Dick is a sharpshooter that just got drafted in the lottery this summer, and the 2 first-round picks here are a good start, but I will continue to hammer home the fact that 2 first-round picks is not enough in a trade for someone as good as Damian Lillard. It may be a nitpick, but the Raptors need to cough up at least 1 more first-round pick to turn the heads of the Blazers front office, because otherwise I'm not completely sure that this is even a better offer than what Miami can offer. Lillard and Pascal Siakam pairing up with Scotty Barnes coming through the ranks would be interesting, and it would probably be a better defensive team than Lillard's ever played on too. I'm just not sure if it's championship caliber though. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about these hypothetical trades. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.